It is the Spincast Cycling Show. Ryan Kellison, Casey Shum, Lisa Vries. Darkness boat, like a boat of darkness. Brian White.
Yep. Boat of darkness. That's
boat
it.
of Let's go with boat of darkness. Cloak of invincibility. All right, we're just starting the show. We were just talking about this off air, but let's get into it. Probably the hottest thing everyone's talking about is Bike Terra. No, I'm just joking. Bike Terra is doing stuff, which we'll probably touch on, but it is the Zwift announcement that Elite Racing will be on hiatus. Let's go with that. Postponed, hiatus. That's what I think that's what they kind of said is like, hey, we're gonna not focus on Elite Racing for the upcoming Zwift. It was the Zwift World Series, something like that. Whatever they do in the fall, they do something in the fall.
Well,
and they do
the Zwift Games, and then
Zwift Games,
and Games got postponed to the spring due to a trainer issue, so it would be Zwift Games.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm for this because in the stance of like putting on my Zwift hat, like, hey, Zwift apologist, not a Zwift apologist, excuse me, the Zwift optimistic, sort of like, hey, they should focus on the things they're really good at. And the Elite Racing was, I think they wanted to have a strong presence. They might have squandered that with the right before the pandemic. Casey probably knows better with the what's the that race series that you were doing when you were
PBR World Cup stuff.
That was it. Yeah. So they were doing a lot. That was like the live event thing. Then the pandemic's over and it's like, oh, we don't really need to do live events. And now we've come out of the pandemic and now
Zwift squashed the live events.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is they had the opportunity to maybe embrace it and do it and have maybe somebody be the catalyst for it, like a proper race director do that, like the ASO hires, or they maybe do it internally. But I'm for this because I think Zwift is a social platform. And if they focus on the social part, which is what I did this week, I did a group ride. I raced a couple times, which we can get into that, but then I was like, I'm just going to do a group ride and see what that's like. And it was the Italian early bird something. It was like 4 a.m. in the UK, and I was doing it at like 8 o'clock at night. And everyone was like, hey, hang on. And hey, do you need help getting, like the old sweepers, sweeping somebody up? That's fun. Like, I have to say that's fun. The race that I did before that, like a day before, or I did last night, I did a race yesterday. Those are not fun. And those are just pickup race. Those are essentially recovery races. I call them recovery races because they're not races. I think Zwift is smart in positioning this to go, you know what? Let's just focus on the things that bike upgrades, even though you can't even use your bike upgrades in a race.
You can.
You can now. Oh, that's right. That's another announcement. Yeah, we've been off. Yeah. We've been off for a while. So that'll get into the other things. But what do you guys think about the postponement or hiatus or stopping it?
What it goes into what, if you remember, we had talked, I believe it was last fall, about Zwift racing kind of dying. And that's essentially what's happening. It was a long play that kept, I guess, entertaining the hearts of the people who are able to race Elite. But from us sitting where we are, racing is basically stagnant. Yeah, for the community, you can hop on and race. But as far as like verified and, legit racing, it was very slim. And only a select few people could even do it at that level.
Okay, so outside of the Zwift Games and Zwift World Series, what other races were verified?
Zwift sponsored. I think that's it. There's not much else that I mean, you've got a few individual entities that are doing semi-private racing on Zwift that they try to do some of that stuff, but it's not Zwift doing it. It's other people using the Zwift.
Right. So like the chasing tour.
Right.
Are they
doing
verified racing? Like everyone has to do a power passport test or whatever?
I don't think to the level of like the old Zada level kind of stuff, but I think they're doing some like spot check weigh-ins and no Z power and maybe duels required maybe at some level, something like that. But I don't think they're quite doing the power passport level or the Zada level stuff.
The ECRO, I believe it's called now. I have not looked into it that much, but I remember, that was whatever they kind of replaced.
Electronic. It's like e-cycling race. I think one of you posted it, or somebody posted
It's
it.
the E-Cycling Racing Organization.
Yeah, there you go.
They have a website.
Another acronym we get to try to remember. I'm just giving a hard time about all the acronyms we have.
Do you know
in
what
cycling.
this ECRO actually is kind of almost like?
Passport?
Totally.
E-Bio Passport.
Which I
like.
there.
We all like the E-Bio Passport. E-Bio Passport's good. All right, we're gonna bring it up on the screen
because I just went onto it, and yeah, it has like your Zwift ID, shows your height, shows your weight, shows your current velo rating, shows your power. I don't know if you can input past, but it has all your results.
That's cool. So not Zwift Power, even
No.
though
I'm
there's
glancing
also
through,
Zwift Power out there.
I'm glancing through the requirements. Equipment is heart rate monitor for everyone, and power meter data is required. Z power is not allowed. So that's the base equipment. And then it looks like it goes off of the Zwift racing app, velo rating.
Yeah.
Is the categories.
I'm gonna have
So
to
does
sign
it-
up.
so is
I'm
there
looking
anything
for verification right now.
So is there anything that you can do outside the game that can infect, but you can do things in the game, like put people in different pins, or you can, because you can't manually select your category.
Not really.
No.
You can't manually. You can't be like, hey, like our website has all the data. You fall into the A category. You need to set up your A category in Zwift. You can't do that.
No, I know
Like
when
that's-
Cycling Canada did the age group races, Zwift gives the race organizer a little bit of functionality to modify things. So they were able to go like A is 35 to 45, age, but it was still A.
You could, you can set up those private events or those what is it, team, if you create a team or whatever it is, you can create those events with categories that aren't filtered, but then you're managing it all just through instructions, right? Like Lee, you meet the criteria for our C, you need to join the C pin because you meet the criteria to be in that pin, and that criteria doesn't have to be Zwift race score or something else, but you can't really, you have no control over that other than just people following instructions and going to the right place.
I mean, that's kind of like real life.
Yeah, but I'm I kind of agree with you and Brian both on this topic in general. I think, Zwift was going nowhere with the elite stuff. I felt like it was almost a afterthought. They weren't investing in it. They weren't putting a real investment in it, from what I could tell. The prize purses weren't even close to being on par with the competitor. They weren't, they weren't really promoting, marketing, trying to do a lot there. I think and it's still expensive. So they weren't, I think they were losing that battle and what it was going to take to actually compete in that arena. They weren't willing to put into it. So it's better to get out of it than to flail along.
It doesn't seem like it was up to the same level of when we were in the heat of the pandemic, where it was like they had GCN, and GCN's gone, well, GCN whatever virtual, like the video of it is gone, but they still do the YouTube stuff. But they used to have coverage. They'd have interviews with the athletes. They'd do like pieces because, everyone was kind of locked in. No one could race outside. And then they didn't sort of like take that and go, you know what, we want to push it to the next level. Now that everyone's kind of coming back, let's get the Zwift house going and have like the in-person races with like the beer and all the other stuff. They just didn't do that. And so that's the reason why they're kind of just like, hey, we're not getting the return on our investment. So let's pull a plug on it.
They could continue to do what they're doing and spend what they were spending and go nowhere. If they wanted to go somewhere, they were going to have to invest in it. And part of that, from kind of looking at Sunday Race Club, I mean, that's kind of our comparison, right? That's the one that seems to be successful right now. If they want to get into Sunday Race Club type territory, they were going to have to invest in being able to verify 1,000+ riders on a regular basis, right? I mean, that's a big investment.
This is a question to the panel and the audience, whatever. Is My Whoosh Sunday Race Club the gold standard now for elite racing in e-cycling stuff?
It's the best
I think
out
overall.
there.
I would have to say yes.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, even because they have the world champion now. They have a deal with the UCI. They get the world championships, but they're consistently racing every single week with high prize money, and it has been going on for at least 3 years now. I mean, the Sunday Race Club has been going on for more than that, but like in the spotlight, where not just because I remember it was on mobile or whatever it was, and people were still doing Sunday Race Club, right?
Right.
But
it was like iOS for a while.
It's now where if you want to be above that, you have to step. Anyone that kind of wants to do competitive elite verified racing, the gold standard right now is the Sunday Race Club.
Yeah, why I think Sunday Race Club beats like Zwift Elite Racing is it's exactly that. It's Zwift Elite Racing, which is very few people, and you get everyone in Sunday Race Club, male, female, from Aunt Bev clear up to a world tour rider and Jason Osborne, all racing together, and they're all have the option to get some prize money, and we know it's all verified. Everyone that's doing it is going through the same exact Power Passport test and weigh-in. So there may be one off, like a trainer or a power meter kind of, shoots a squirrel every now and then, but 99.9% of the time, they know who they're racing is a real person. It's not someone that's on the QZ app.
Yeah, and I think the key they did to take that to the next levels, we're saying verified and elite, but Sunday Race Club is verified. It's not elite. It includes
correct.
elite.
Yeah.
But and I think that's where they broke the big barrier, right? It's verified racing. That's not, especially now. We're probably 6 months into having that extra categorization added to it also, where like old school top tier B-Cat Zwift riders can race they have a real chance at making money, real chance, not not some fluke thing.
That's a great point, because this is a couple weeks ago. I was on my stream talking about this. The reason why I don't think Zwift racing is real at all, not because of the cheating or anything like that. It's just like my point is, this is what I said on my stream. There's no stakes involved in doing a race on Zwift. Like, when I race outside, I have to wake up, I have to go there, I have to risk injury, have to travel, all these other things, and it's like, look, I'm investing time into this. I've paid an entry fee. I'm racing with other people. It's like there's all this thing with Zwift or any sort of like casual racing. We're going to use Zwift here right now. Is you're not going to crash. You're not paying an entry fee unless they're, the only one I've ever paid for is Echelon and the national championships. Those are the only race fees that I've ever paid for a race on any platform, right? So hey, I'm just going to show up to this race. There's no stakes involved. So people are like, it's a throwaway. Like, I was in a casual race last night, and somebody in the chat was like, oh yeah, I haven't been on the bike in a week. Excuses. Of all these other things. Yeah, if people have never been on, like trained and been on, Casey knows what I'm talking about. Brian knows what I'm talking about. Lee, yeah, maybe you. I don't know. Have you? But being on, worrying about your weight, worrying about what you're eating, making sure you're fueled, making sure you're rested or coming into the thing trained or whatever. Those are stakes involved. We've done that for free races, wanting to put the stamp of this is real. Hey, I'm showing up to this race. Like, I raced last night and I was doing stuff like attacking and trying to get a breakaway. We do these casual races. We'll talk about that coming up. The Friday night fun race is announced. But my point on this is, if stakes were higher for certain races, which the elites were, And you have to be an elite to be in those like Zwift games and stuff. Where the Sunday Race Club is, you can have a D like Hardclaw's wife. She races in the D races. She's investing her time to be verified to do those races, but she's not like Casey said, is not elite. It's just verified racing, which is a different category for people if they want to be in that. And so the money, the incentives are raising the stakes.
I think if you spend the time and effort to jump through hoops, there's a better chance
to be rewarded, yeah.
Or a more likely chance that you will actually race.
Yes.
Yeah, you're there to race.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because I said it very differently, but I had a similar conversation with my chat over the last week, and this struggling with the Zwift racing and the Zwift racing score was a little bit more about the topic. But I said that the biggest problem with Zwift racing, I believe that the Zwift race score as a racing categorization platform is the right concept. The problem is people aren't joining races to race. If you can't figure out how to get the people in the race to join them to finish the best they possibly can, then the ZRS doesn't work. And that's why I was saying Zwift needs to quit figuring out, quit chasing all this other stuff. If they want, even if they want casual racing to be successful, or if they want the race score to be successful, it's figuring out how to incentivize people to join races to race.
Yeah.
It's not just I'm going for a workout today. When I click race, I'm trying to get the best possible finish in the race that I can every time, and it's a drive for me. It's a competitiveness, but not everybody's there doing that, and that's why it doesn't work.
That's a great point. Let's swap out e-cycling or whatever and put in chess. Like most ranked chess players are trying to increase their chess score, so they're going to play out the game to the best of their ability. And the score will follow. Like if I beat somebody that's higher than me, then my score goes up, blah, blah, blah. Which we have that score.
Which is understandable.
But yeah, most people don't just show up to a chess match and do a ranked chess match for fun. They're like, I'm going to do the casual races or the casual chess match to do the casual chess match because I'm not going to do one because I'm trying different strategies. I'm trying different things. I didn't get enough sleep or whatever. When you have a ranked event, it means more in chess. It doesn't really mean that much in the Zwift racing.
Well, I think, and that's been Zwift's problem from the get-go. People are using races as group rides.
Yeah.
Some people are actually racing. Majority of them aren't. I think Zwift, them dropping elite racing, does it really matter? Not really, maybe.
It matters to the people that like having Zwift be the gold standard for elite racing.
To the Zwift diehards who think Zwift has done a good effort. But Zwift hasn't done a good effort. Zwift could have done way more. But as you said, the social aspect of things. And then Zwift leading into these Friday night fun races.
Yeah, we'll get into that now,
Like,
the fun stuff is fun.
Is this the start of gamification?
This is what I said at the beginning about I was like, you know what? There was no real race that wasn't going to start for like 30 minutes. I was like, I'll just do a group ride. And I treated it like a group ride. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to go smash the whatever. There was no fence. It was led by two people. And they're like, hey, we're going to start off at 2 and then we'll get going. It's like this is a 2.5 thing. And then we go when you punch up. And it was like, and they said, anyone new here? I should send the thing to here. I'll send this to you in the Discord. So you can see I took a screenshot of it. But I was like, this is fun. This is pleasant. I can enjoy this because where is it here? I'll send it in Discord. It was not serious, but serious enough to be, hey, keep everyone together. Somebody falls off the back. Do you need help being pulled back? Which is this community thing, which is the social thing. This is what Zwift is. And I hope they know that, and that's why they're doing what they're doing.
Well, I think if you remember the interview that Mike Coate, I believe it was, he's like the VP of the product. That's what he said. He said he wants more people riding more often. And that's their goal. They want more people on the platform. And that's their bread and butter. If you look at the numbers, if they truly do have 1 million subscribers and like 80,000 people are doing ZRL or Zwift games or whatnot, that shows you that we are such a minority as racers. It's wild to think. And then right now, if I remember right, I could be wrong, but there was like 500,000 people signed up for Tour of Watopia. And, you know, they weren't races. They just got in and they did their thing. Some people raced it, which was a lot of fun, but that kind of thing, I think that shows you the difference between the mentality of a lot of people. And just like you said, there are groups. There was when I was doing my knee replacement recovery, I joined this Jersey unlock for a group I'd never heard of. There were 650 people in it, and the chat was nonstop. These people, just like you said, they were like so friendly, like they knew each other. They were asking about their dogs.
Yeah,
there's such a huge community within that we kind of get, you know, glossed over because we're more focused to training and racing than a lot of
racers typically as well are the whiniest.
Yeah,
they like to stamp their feet and say, "What about me?" And you know, with those numbers that did come out, racing was like less than the 1%.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, in the end, from a pure racing perspective on Zwift, over the last year, the random Tour of Watopia type monster group rides have been way more enjoyable race experiences than the actual racing has been, because there's no expectation of a category. There's nothing you can do to complain about somebody shouldn't be here, because everybody starts together. And like you're saying, Brian White, we still race them. We still fight for the front. How long can we hold on? When are we going to get dropped? Are we going to get dropped? You know, like I'd almost prefer just always have something like that on the calendar and forget about Zwift Race Score altogether. And you know, because you'd have 200 starters on those. You'd still have 50 starters in the crappy North America time zones and those things, and you can't get 5 people to start a race.
Yeah.
But there were still 10 people in those 50 racing with you, actually racing. You know, so it's like sometimes I think they might need to go back to a KISS mentality with some of that. Just keep it simple.
Like Rouvy had on Sunday, the Rouvy Big Race number 8. And there were 659 finishers.
Yeah. I signed up for it and I didn't do it. Overslept. But so we're glad that Zwift is sort of like venturing back into or focusing out of the elite and into the fun thing. Let's get into the fun thing. So just on this picture that's up for people, that was the Italian ride where they're like, "Hey, anyone new?" And I'm like, "You know what, Mr. No Chat?" I chatted and I said, "Hey, I'm new here." And they said, "Hey, Brian, thanks for joining." And I was like, "That's nice. It can be nice. It can be fun."
Is Zwift can now stop pretending that they care about the racing.
Yes.
They've canceled elite racing. They can focus on fun, focus on gamification.
Fun is fast. Let's get it going.
All this fun stuff. And they can stop being like, "Yep, we're going to give racers nothing what they ask for and sort of do racing. And we gave them race score and it doesn't really work and did seem like it worked, but I think this is a better direction for them."
Yeah. So let's get on this Friday night fun races announced. Okay, this was July 3rd, so this was Thursday before
I missed this. This is the first time I'm seeing it.
Yeah. So I saw this and I saw that. So on the screen, everyone that's just listening on the audio only, there's a little power up, little thing on the road. I'm under the, I saw that and I was like, oh, I'm kind of excited because I wanted to bring it up. Then I started talking about it on my stream last night. That is not what you are getting, actually. That is a simulated, like the little footnote at the end of commercials, simulated thing. It is not, it is a power up boost that sort of like does like a warp zone thing. It's like it's in your power up space bar and you get like 3 of them or something, or 2 of them. Somebody was doing it yesterday and I think Villager, Camden, friend of the show, he was explaining it to me, and he sent me a link to one of the races. I want it on the road. I don't want it in someone's power up. I think you should be steering. This will get into my other rant of use the Zwift Plays so you can steer into, or the Zwift Ride. You've bought a Zwift Ride. You should be able to use your Zwift steering to steer into these things that are on the course, like the what's the Repack Ridge, which no one's going to do anymore because they do it for 10 minutes and then they're like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'm going to go back to doing what I normally do. This, if you were doing these races, I would love to see this, but it's not this.
This almost seems to be heading in the true esport gamification category, where you actually need some skill in gaming on top of high wattage in FTP. Yeah. So it's based on existing race score.
And some strategy, right? If you have a certain number of these, it's when do you use them? You burn yours early, somebody saved them and gets back to you, and then all of a sudden you're in trouble, right? Like there's strategy to it. That, I mean, power-ups are interesting, but I've always wanted them to be able to do more with them from a strategic perspective. Like, can you save them for later, or have multiple slots?
This I think we need to touch on this, because I brought this up and I was getting heated, and I'm like, we're going to talk about this today, or I was talking about it yesterday. We're going to talk about it tonight. Now we're talking about it. They have the dinosaur. It was like you were in a dinosaur suit and you had this sort of like double boost warp zone thing. I don't care about the cosmetics. I think if I brought this up, if you have a disadvantage or an advantage, right? So like if you have a fun ride or a charity ride and everyone's in the inflatable raptor suit, and it's like it's a fun thing. Okay, it makes it harder to pedal, or it's like a little bit more of a hindrance because you can't see out the window of the costume. If it's just cosmetic and it doesn't really hinder you, you're not going to crash. You're not going to go into the wall. You're not going to take anyone out. Make it a little bit more competitive. These fun races should be fun competitive. Use the bonuses on the road. Like you have to steer into it. If people don't have it, then you don't get to steer into the bonus. Sorry. I paid for this. Pay to win. Fine. This is the pay to win fun race.
But there is no winning.
Well, yeah, there's no, yeah, whether it's a rec league. This is my point is, last night I brought this up. It's like for those people in the United States, maybe in Canada, other people around the world, if you've ever heard of a game called softball, there's rec league softball,
which is serious business.
And if you can buy a bat that can give you more power, or you can hit the ball, you should be able to buy. No, everyone has to use the same bat, because we need to neutralize it. That's Zwift. Zwift is the, hey, fun police, we're neutralizing the rec league softball games because, everyone has to wear tennis shoes because not everyone can get cleats to run around the bases. That is not what we want. We want, hey, if I could buy the thing that I want to buy, which is Zwift Play, if you can't get it in your country, figure out a way to get it. I don't know. Like, push Zwift to get better distribution or whatever it is. Make this fun racing league the most fun thing ever. I would want to do that, because the most popular thing is not the most fun thing to me, which is ZRL, or Zwift Racing League.
I think if you embrace the not real part of it, right? When you embrace it rather than try to make it this, everybody's got to be level, everything's got to be fair. Like when you actually embrace the outlandish side of power-ups and what you can do in there, I think is what actually will make it fun, right? Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be simulation. It doesn't have to be realistic. And I think that if you accept that, that's when it gets really fun. I relate some of this. I'd like to see them do something like this when we were doing some CVR stuff when they came out with their platform. They had some really powerful power-ups, and they were all programmable, where their power-ups weren't like at a lap banner or something. It was you had like 4 or 5 slots, And
Right.
they could set up the event to either fill those slots randomly or they were filled with specific things. But you could be holding multiple ones. You could stack them.
Yeah.
And then they replenished over a prescribed time period. So you could set it up to be like everyone's slot 1 is going to be this power up and it's going to last for 20 seconds and it's going to regenerate after 3 minutes. So every 3 minutes you could use it again, or 3 minutes after you use the first one, you could and you could then you figured out combinations to be like, oh,
Yeah.
one of them is going fast to the corners and the other one's making me go fast, and there's this technical part of the course. So I'm going to drop my go fast power up, and right before I hit that first corner, I'm going to drop the one that makes me corner on rails, and I'm going to fly through the corners, and all of a sudden you open up this 10-second gap and you get this advantage.
Yeah.
The guy behind you chases back. But if he chases back and didn't use that power up, then all of a sudden you're on the back foot, right? 'Cause
Correct.
he's still sitting on him.
Totally.
Right? So
Totally
it's like,
agree.
Totally
agree.
that was fun, right?
I did a race earlier in the week. It was like a crit. I love the downtown dolphin, or the whatever the other one is, where you do the crit. And it was like 4 or 5 people. I'm in a low category because of my racing score, whatever. But it was 10 laps. I did the 4th lap. I was breaking away, and I was steering. So we had some people had steering, some people didn't. But I was using the steering to my advantage every lap, every corner, trying to take the proper line. I was mentally fatigued after that, because when you're at effort and having to take the right line every time and because you don't want to be like, oh, I'm on the left-hand side, I gotta be on the right-hand side. It takes a toll on you. That's where it's like people are like, oh, no. If the people that are not using it are just riding, they're not fear of crashing, they're not fear of taking the worst line, they're just going to get the line that they're given. But if you're using this, I'm staying on it the whole time. It was mentally taxing.
Yeah,
like you're saying, it's a skill. And if you're like, hey, I'm saving this. I was in the race yesterday where it was the stage 1 France thing, whatever, and you get the steamroller or you get the van or whatever it's called, the draft arrow, whatever it's called. There's 4 people in our race. 2 people dropped out, so it was just myself and another person. I was getting the truck. I'm like, I don't want the truck. I would just drop it. I was like deleting it. I wasn't even using it. I think they can refine some of the power-ups, like you said, stack them. Hey, every sprint, like if you do 4 laps of a race and you're stacking them, you're like, look, I'm saving them till the end. And I have 4 piled up, and you put the little 4 number next to it or something like that. You're like, hey, I can use 4 back to back to back and really put the hurt on everyone because I've saved it and suffered through the rest of the race. Or exchange it in, go like, hey, instead of me just dropping the one I don't want, maybe send it back to maybe get a 50% less of the rollers, which I'd take over nothing. That's not going to do me anything. Or XP. Like, hey, I'm not going to just delete this. Give me, like, some of those are like little things you can refine to just make it a little bit more fun while you're doing these sort of casual races or casual group rides or whatever it is, or coffee ride or whatever, or buy a coffee ride. Like you can use your drops to buy a coffee ride. I think they need to kick it up a notch to like refine those things that already exist. Refine the things that already exist.
Yeah, you don't have to come up with 10 new power-ups. It's use the power-ups you got and kind of the functionality you got, but start adjusting the algorithm a little bit. Like that was kind of a good concept. What I was thinking about when you said that was like, I got the ghost. I don't want to use the ghost, but instead of deleting the ghost, like, let me throw the ghost back into the pool and be like, if I don't use the ghost, but I set it aside, like, okay, I don't want this. The next power up you get has a 25% longer duration to it because you skipped a power up, right? Like, so my next feather is plus 25%, right? Like, so it's like but it's a lottery, right? At that point, it's a lottery. It's like, I'm not going to use this advantage to get a little bit better on the next advantage. It's
that sort of little internal gambling that you'd be willing to do for your power up while you're at effort, or while you're doing something, or while you're worrying about another rider or another group that's going off the front.
So you think about that, like right now, I mean, it's been this way for years, right? If it's a sprint race and you get the helmet, like my rule on the helmet, you get the helmet in a flat race, don't use the helmet unless you're going to get dropped, period,
Mhm.
because you have to save it for the finish. But if there's something tactfully through the race that gets you more duration or stronger power-ups, like, then people aren't going to sit on that
Yeah.
helmet when there's 15 banners to go through. They're all of a sudden going to be like,
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it back in the pool. I'm going to throw it in the lottery.
I
How
would've-
many times can I throw it back in the lottery and still end up with a helmet
Yeah,
at the end? And how long will my helmet last compared to somebody else's? Or,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
people are going to gamble like that. And
I
it's
would
not,
have. That's where I thought of it. I was like, because I did that. It was 10 laps on this crit. The first like 7 laps were the feather, and I used it going up the little climb. You know, the little brick climb. And I was like, this is awesome. Then I'm in a breakaway. I've got away, and I was like, 30 seconds, 30, 40 seconds, whatever it was. And I started getting the one that, the arrow truck, the thing that didn't help me at all because I was in a breakaway. And I'm like, I was just using it to get rid of it so that I could get the feather. Now, that's the other thing is like, hey, if you trade it back in, I mean, we're coming up with a bunch of these ideas that maybe Zwift should take. Trade it back in so that your percentage of getting the feather the next time is increased, or you save it so that it compounds. And these are things that they can refine. So
yeah,
that's where Zwift is right now. I think we can move on. Any more on the Zwift, people? No?
All
not on that
fantastic
stuff.
ideas.
Yeah.
I do.
Write them
do-
down. They're free. We just gave them out for free, people.
I do want to give Zwift props on this.
Oh, they did. They updated their fitness.
Yeah, the
data,
updates they did in
their
the
data.
companion app where you can look at weeks worth of load data, training scores, progression over time, and that this should have came out when they implemented this,
Yeah.
a month or two ago, right? I think this is a little bit late, but a good update, because I felt like that was the piece they were missing, was they would give you where you were currently at, but you couldn't see your progression. And this was
That's
a
a
nice
good one.
little
Another little
update.
good update, which what surprised me, is the staying in the event after the event finished. That's
Yes.
what
Yep.
I don't know what it's called. That's what I'm going with right now.
We were
Staying in the
talking about
event.
this for social aspect of
The
this.
social, yes, this is a good
And
thing.
in Bike Terra races, when you finish the race, you do a loop after the finish line, and you head back riding the same route.
Yeah, with the same people.
going the opposite.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is people that have raced tend to socialize more about that race. And Zwift, when you finished an event, you were teleported back to the world, the general
You were
population.
asked, hey, do you want to go back to where you were? Because if you were in like a different race and then joined an event that took you to a different world,
Yeah.
it would ask you, hey, do you want to go back or do you want to stay in the world that you're in? But you leave the event.
Yes. And once you leave the event, you chat to the general population.
Mm.
You can't see who was in your race anymore because now you see
Yeah.
everyone. And that totally ruined
Yeah.
a big thing with racing, because people who race love to talk about the race.
Yeah.
Like me, when I was racing ZRL, my team would stay on Discord for 45 minutes after the race. You did this. Maybe next week we'll do this and try this. Good job, buddy. Like for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And even in Bike Terra, there's 18 people. 10 of those 18 stay for like 15, 20 minutes
Yeah.
after the race to talk about it.
They did 3
Social.
things. Yeah. They did 3 things. 1, it keeps you in the event. 2, they put the number of the finishing place behind you, which is pretty cool. So like I finished first last night. I had a 1 in my rear end area. I think it was like hovering right over my butt or whatever it was. And this is what's really cool, is you can click back into the finishing results. So they have a little thing where it says leave the event, or has like the little it's like the 3 lines of a list or a menu. It looks like a menu option, but it's not the menu option. It's the results. So you can go back and see, like, after people had finished, like let's say you finish first or second or whatever, and then people are coming in, trickling in, and they're sort of cooling down or riding around. You can click on that and go, hey, where did you or you can see where someone finished and say, hey, you did great. It shows, and then you can click out of that. Oh, that is a good update. I have to say. Good update.
I need to do a race tomorrow. I haven't actually witnessed it first person yet.
Okay, yeah. I did it last night for the first time. Yeah.
But I haven't done a race in like 3 or 4 days. So I think it's brand new.
It's a good social aspect of keeping people in the sort of thing that Lee was talking about.
I did a race on Monday, that epic race, like Sac Le Bleu or whatever. Actually, phenomenal. It was a phenomenal race. It was, there was 6 A's, 7 A's, something like that, and all of us raced it. It was great. But I did not have that same event afterwards. But today when I was riding, I did see someone finish. I was watching some guy on Twitch. I don't even know his name. He had like, I forget what race he was doing, but when he got done, it did that. And it was kind of cool to watch people chat and say, hey, great job, or you caught me off guard, or whatever they were saying.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to have that. I was not in a large group, so I didn't really have anybody. I had a weird bug in my race. A guy like disappeared for like 26 minutes. And then he popped right up at like a 1.8 kilometers to go, whatever. And
that's not a bug.
No, wait, what is that then?
That's just somebody being...
That's a ghost power up.
Yeah, somebody.
No, he ghost powered up at like 5 minutes into the race, and he disappeared like the entire race, and then showed whatever. Go watch my video. I was talking about, but at the end I didn't have anybody to talk to. I would love to do it with like a larger race to have people to kind of like, hey, check this out, make it Mr. No Chat. Now
I did a race this week, and there was like, was there 100 people in the race? I beat a guy who averaged 5.8 watts per kilo for 45 minutes, and he finished 2 spots behind me.
What?
Jesus.
That's Zwift racing for you. Yep. Mr. Gordon did 5.8 watts per kilo the entire race and did nothing but just get abused in chat the entire race. And he was like 10, 15 seconds off the front the whole time. And the final surge to the finish line, we passed him. And I finished like 25th, and he finished like 27th. It was a full like mixed cat. Like there was big dudes in here. There was some draft racers, some really strong riders, and I just kind of had to chuckle. So it's my highest number I've had for like 40 minutes in a year. So my fitness, I did 4.0 for 40 minutes, which is big for me right now.
Casey.
Yeah, but I was absolutely dead, and then I looked it up, and I'm like, this is why Zwift racing sucks, because the guy that does 5.8 watts per kilo got beat by me, and his racing score went down because he's an idiot. But yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
We still don't know what that racing score means or is.
Right. So I got upgraded to an A again. So I'm pushing that 700 number again.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, let's get into Rouvy. I know we have like 15 minutes or so left. We can go a little longer. We haven't been on it for a while, but any more Zwift? I think the Zwift apologists are very happy with us.
Well,
the biggest thing was
going in a
racing.
correct direction for Zwift.
Mm-hmm.
There was last thing on Zwift. There was I don't know if it's maybe it is verified. The inactive riders or inactive account holders.
Yeah, get 2 months free.
2 months free to come back.
Not
and this
me.
isn't not you. Yeah. But
Yeah,
also
this
this is sort of like maybe a strategy for off-season riders, kind of like the Rouvy is raising their rates, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to get in?" As I drinking a carbonated soda, the Rouvy price goes up in the 15th. I'm trying to find a team here because I was shunned. Shunned by my own show members. What's that?
Do you know when you have to activate your free Zwift? Because Aunt Bev got an email.
I don't know.
Rouvy goes up on the 15th of July, and you have to activate that free month on the 15th of July.
Oh, really?
Very
maybe, counter.
dates.
It's probably counter.
Because I think the free month
incentives.
for the free 2 months was July and August only.
And I wonder
I
wonder what qualifies you for that, because I was just checking the email associated with my secondary accounts that I don't ever use anymore. They didn't get any offer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we don't know how that came through the community. I think it was the Danish Discord. Somebody posted it, and so we were talking about it.
I don't know that that account has ever been a paid account, or if it has, it was 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
I don't know that it's ever paid.
Yeah, we don't know what
but
the criteria is, but
it's used its monthly free riding quite a lot over the years.
But I'm actually, we're gonna get a Rouvy. Let's talk Rouvy, because I was really impressed with the French courses. So these are new.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're new or old videos, but they've got the challenge. So it's like 3 flat courses and then like 5 climbing stages. Yeah, it's up on the screen now for the audio only audience. We have the website up, so you can go there. Rouvy. I did Lille, and I did. It's not Cannes. It's Cannes. I think that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And Boulogne-sur-Mer, and I was pleasantly surprised at how nice they were. Like the video's very nice. Obviously, they have their Rouvy thing where it's like, you come to a stop and red light and there's cars, so it's kind of weird. But once you're rolling, it looks really clean. And I was riding mostly by myself, so I didn't have too many other riders around. I think the avatars need to get better, and the position of the avatars need to get a little bit better. But the quality of the ride, the quality of the interface, the way you can sign up, and the website, the interaction of stuff, and yeah, this is really cool here. The payoff at the end at Boulogne-sur-Mer is awesome. It's like you ride to the coast. It was today's stage in the Tour de France is where they kind of finished.
Okay.
But the videos are like really well done. I really like the videos.
There's a couple French-based challenges going on in Rouvy right now. So I'll start with I did Ventoux yesterday.
Oh, and Rouvy.
Probably, yeah, because it's
Wow.
part of the challenge.
Mont Ventoux is this year, right?
Yeah, and it's part of one. There's 2 different challenges going on that are Tour of France versions now. It's the I think
Grand
it might be
Depart?
the Legends of the Tour.
Legends of the Tour is the climbing. Grand Depart is the 3
so
flat courses.
Legends of the Tour has Ventoux on it. What was great about the Ventoux video is, I don't know if this is normal, but the video was just full of recreational riders going up the climb on the road. So I had no one around me in the game, but I was passing riders the whole way up. It was a great video. Now my biggest beef with Rouvy, the one thing I want Rouvy to do, they steal the descents that we earn.
Oh, yeah.
I've done 5,000 foot of elevation on like 2 back-to-back rides on Rouvy, and I'm like,
go downhill.
I need give me the 10 miles the coast, give me the sailing down the hill and ripping the corners, and like, that is the one thing, if I could just beg Rouvy to make a difference, is figure out, and I know you can't run the courses backwards, it's video based, all that, but gosh, that hurts so bad.
I've had to block that out of my mind because, coming from someone who would purposely pick the flattest course in Zwift to get the most kilometers and would avoid all climbing, when you're forced to do a Rouvy climbing challenge with a crap ton of climbing, or 8 kilometers, it hurts so bad. And that's part of the game.
Yeah, that is a good point.
That's the way it is.
It just stops. Like you cross the line, you stop.
Yeah, you're done. Like, so I've done right here on the screen that you've got up now. I did Ventoux yesterday. I did Tourmalet today. They were great. Yeah. They're beautiful, beautiful climbs. What was cool about Ventoux right here, that's the picture, right, that it showed before it started that video. Like when I got near the top of it, I was like, I recognize this from Zwift, where the tree line's gone and you've got that monument at the top and you can see it. I could relate to it. I will say, if anybody goes and does it, the Ventoux
this looks like a descent here.
Yeah, the Ventoux climb actually turns around and comes about halfway down on the route. So you do get 4 or 5 miles of ripping down the hill.
That was kind of like, here we go, RGT. RGT had because they had a different climb, because there's like 5 different ways I think you can go up Ventoux, from like the back side, the front side, whatever. And Zwift's Ventoux was different than RGT's Ventoux inside the game, where this this I think is the same way that Zwift's route is, I think. But Zwift kind of stops at the top and then does the little, because they have their own custom thing, where this is like you go up and over and then go kind of down a little bit, right?
A lot of the mountain pass ones will go a kilometer into the other
Next
side
thing,
of the pass, but it's usually
But yeah, that is a good thing. That cuts into the social aspect. Is like as soon as you finish a race, as soon as you finish a group ride, whatever it is, you cross that line, done. Do you want to keep pedaling and automatically generate to do another one? Do you want to do this? But like, and there's not a lot of social. There's not a lot of chatting. There's not a lot of social stuff in Rouvy.
There's no group
chatting.
Chat. There's no chat. So
right, that's right. There's no chat. Oh, even on the companion app thing.
Yeah, not that I know of. There's pros and cons to that. I appreciate in racing the art of you got to talk with your legs, not with your keyboard. There's no don't chase this guy, he's cheating. There's none of that garbage going on in Rouvy because there's nothing to say other than talk with your legs. It's body language. It's trying to take rotations.
Yeah.
You know, all you got's the thumbs up.
Nonverbal stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate that, but there is no social to it at all. Now I have found with Rouvy, more people are more likely to come. They'll give me kudos on my Strava ride that I did with them. And people that I've raced with on Rouvy will start following me on Rouvy and, you know, that kind of thing. Like, because there's not a social aspect. Like, that's the only way you can connect with them. Yeah,
the Rouvy, I'm agreeing with you on the Rouvy. I get more
people go out of their way to find you.
When you if you had a good quality race, right? Like you rode together a lot, you took polls, you had some fun. They'll come find you on the cycling socials.
Yeah, I get that. I get a lot more thumbs up or new people hitting me up on Strava
because 2 hours and 42 minutes.
Yeah.
Nice try.
It's a climb, man.
That's 3 hours and 42 minutes for Glee.
No, that's my
yesterday.
time.
That's
I'm logged into my account, so that's
your
time.
Oh my goodness.
That's my ETA.
That's your ETA.
Rouvy's ETA system.
See, this is
very
great.
accurate.
This is great because I was doing this and I was like, oh, I have only like an hour right now, and I did the French courses. I was like, oh, it's like 45 minutes. Boom, done.
Like this one, I do the same thing. Like I have an hour, but this is their ETA is based on like 70% FTP. So I look at this and go, well, if I push, I could probably do this in 59 minutes.
Yeah. And that's the way I am too. Like I can beat these times, but you can't get aggressive beating these times if they're over an hour because you can't mess around, especially on the climbs. Like you can kind of fake it a little bit if you got you can ride the course on a roller course or something and you're like, okay, take a break on the downhill and hit it again. But these constant climbing ones, I'm hitting my ETAs barely, but I'm doing mid threes for
this is 2 hours and 42 minutes at 70% FTP. So I mean that's a long time to even be doing 70% FTP. If I want to push and do 80%, probably not gonna want to ride for 3 hours at that pace. I was just thinking the prizes you get,
and the prizes,
which Rouvy does a really good job of. All their races and all their main group rides are giving people virtual things and real things. Like this challenge, the Legends of the Tour are giving away headphones, pedals, and
real headphones, and
a real
pedals.
jersey. This is like a real Visma jersey and helmet. And they actually are doing, as part of this, the Legends of the Tour, they're actually doing a full-on racing series where they're giving away XP and coins.
For the audio only audience, Lee is lost and he's trying to find the thing he's talking about while he's driving. But I understand what you're saying. It's the there's like 5 climbs, the virtual Grand Tour thing. I know we did want to touch on this. We're kind of wrapping. How long do we want to go? Do we want to go a little bit longer?
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'm good.
what was it? Back to Zwift. Sorry, back to Zwift. Casey, you brought it up. We didn't touch on it when we were in the Zwift's world. The added courses, the course growth thing.
Yeah.
Or the lack thereof course growth. This is the thing that, like, sort of, I know Brian White cares a lot about this, and Lee too.
Yes, sir.
Cares about the course growth, where Rouvy is growing a lot more. Biketerra, I know I touched on Biketerra. Biketerra is growing.
I mean, it's literally, I can go out and drive, take a video, and that's Rouvy has it easiest of all the apps when it comes to, I think, expansion.
What's interesting
I think Biketerra has the magic roads.
I guess, because you're just uploading a GPX file.
Yeah, and they've been improving that. They've been working on that, and there's a lot of the Biketerra. I mean, I teased about it at the beginning, but they have been improving a lot of stuff.
Rouvy's got a really good recipe though with these challenges, because what I'm finding is I'm grinding challenges for the most part on Rouvy. And every week or so, they're introducing new challenges, and I'm trying to do them all and grind the XP and do all that. And what I'm finding is the courses that are involved in those challenges, I mean, they're not populated like Zwift is populated, but they're populated well enough that almost every ride that I'm doing on Rouvy that's a free ride is I find myself chasing the guy in front of me or trying not to get caught. They're not right on top of me usually, but it's like, oh, there's a person a half mile up the road. Can I catch him before the end of this route? There's a person a quarter mile behind me doing half a watt per kilogram more. Can I stay away from him, right?
Yeah.
You're actually running across people. So they've got thousands of routes, but the challenges are driving enough people to the same routes that you're still finding people in free ride situations on that. So I think they've balanced that really well on Rouvy.
So My Whoosh doesn't do stuff like that.
My Whoosh does do missions now.
They just started that.
That's
actually
so
good.
Is that, you think that's going to help them? Because that's the one thing about My Whoosh is, like, it's hard to find other people that are, and they're populated by bots.
I think it would help because, like Casey said, I exclusively do the Rouvy challenges. I don't do any rando rides. Like, I'll do a race if it's like an advertised, like the big race where you get bonus XP and all that. I like riding in Rouvy when you have like 1,000 people on the course.
I do route of the day.
Other than that, it's literally
sort of
challenges. Just what am I doing next? Okay, I'm doing this challenge, and it's actually quite hard to complete them all in a month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What I'm finding too is a lot of whoever's organizing races on Rouvy, they tend to favor the courses that are also in the challenges. So I'll sign up for a race if the race is on a route that's in one of the challenges, right? So I'm careful on how I'm picking routes and races too, because it's like I'd rather jump in a race and burn a challenge route than just go do it on my own.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I wanted to find more races because I was I went into Zwift and it wasn't fun to see like one race and there's like 2 people.
Yep.
So I'm like, I'm gonna go to Rouvy, and I'm like, I want to find a race. You know, not a challenge, but like I want to find a race. Time zone, forget the time zone. But I'm saying, like, I think it's harder to find races in Rouvy. It seems more of an experience to do these rides instead of being like, hey, I want to be competitive and do these sort of things. Does that make sense?
Yeah. There's not as many races in Rouvy. If you're available in some of those prime times, like I'm finding all my Rouvy races at my lunchtime, which is prime time, Europe, evening time. And there's usually 1 or 2 races that have double-digit numbers in them, 10, 15 people in them. So that's usually when I'm racing. Every once in a while, I'll pick up one in an early North America time slot, early evening, 4 or 5 o'clock my time. But yeah, they're harder to find. But yeah, grinding the challenges and even double dipping. I think Brian White has noticed this with me, where it's been a favor for me. Some of these challenges, like the ones Lee just had up, a lot of them are an hour 40 to 2 hours to finish those routes. So I'll double dip and do a Zwift race for 45 or 50 minutes, and then I'll flip over to Rouvy to finish the route I started while I was racing. And I'll continue to ride for 45 minutes in zone 2 just to get through the route that I did half of it while I was racing on Zwift. kind of thing, right? So it's all of my writing has extended because I will always pick a challenge route on Rouvy that's going to be longer than the event that I'm double dipping
Okay.
with.
I got you.
So I'll always push myself now an extra 30 minutes to get to burn a route at the same time, kind of thing.
Okay. All right. Brian, you still
Rouvy
double dipping?
also has the best website
Am I double
and
dipping?
the best
Of
UI
course.
interface.
Oh,
Yeah, Ruby is good.
And as
Yeah,
well as
hands
for
down.
actually finding, searching events, like scrolling through events on their website is a little tedious. But I mean, you can go to their filters and you can filter by date, filter whether it's an official, smart trainer only, non-drafting. Even if friends, like, have any of my friends joined a race, group ride race? Like,
the one filter I wish they did have on their app is what have I signed up for? Because there's like times I'll pre-sign up for stuff.
Yeah,
you can't find easily what you've, because I joined 3 races this morning to do them. I was like, oh, I'm going to do 3 things back to back to back because I thought I was going to ride in the morning, and then I stayed up too late and then overslept. I can't find what I signed up for, right? To go like, oh, this is when I have to do my ride. I know what, like, it's, time management. That's one thing I wish they had.
I think if you click on the events tab on the website, if you've registered for something, there's another category that comes up for like what you've registered for.
I think there is, but it's not on the companion app.
I don't think it's in the app.
Yeah.
I don't even use the Rouvy companion app because the website's so good. Even if I'm on my phone, I just go to the Rouvy website on my phone.
Oh, well, I guess I can do that. But
Their
then I gotta log
website's
in.
really good.
Yeah, whatever.
Their website's really good.
Mr. No Companion on Zwift. I'm using the companion app on Rouvy.
yeah, actually, the only thing I really use the Rouvy companion app is when you're riding. The overall map on the Rouvy companion is really good.
Yeah.
Like it shows you where you are on the route, and you can zoom in and zoom out and see the whole route.
Oh, yeah, that's what I wish they had in the game, but I guess that's on the companion app.
It's on the app, yes.
Yeah, it's on the app.
So I don't use it. I haven't used the companion app at all while I ride. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of doing that because I just want it all in one thing. I want to focus on that. I want to focus on whatever. We're over an hour. I think that we're good. I think we got through everything pretty much. I mean, we've been off for a while,
I got
but
one
that
last thing.
Okay. Let's do it.
My whoosh.
All right. Yeah.
The missions that they're doing right now, it's event based. You have to find the event. I think I forget what it's called. It's like I want to say it's chasing yellow. Quick here, pursuit of yellow.
Yeah, Zwift is chasing yellow.
Yes, yeah, and it's every 6 hours, 6 hours or something roughly. They have an event. That's how you get the credit for it.
That's good to know because I would have just jumped in and like tried to find routes to do or something.
Yeah,
see that's
it's an event that's every. I'll post the link for my whoosh info that sorts it out here.
Okay.
But a side thing is they're supposed to be doing treasure hunt, which we don't know what that is. It was teased. It said it's coming. So hopefully with the next big update they do, we get the treasure hunt, which no one knows anything about except for kind of teased a little bit. And then a complete side note, everyone loves doing route badges and everything in Zwift. Well, my whoosh has the same achievements. And ironically, Jeff Rooney has 170 complete. He is number 1, and I am at 168 at number 2 of all the achievements completed right now. So I was kind of surprised that Jeff Rooney, who Casey knows real well, and he's on my level team on my whoosh, he is number 1, and I'm two challenges behind him. And I have a couple that within the next probably 2 weeks I want to get, so I'll be tied with him. So so right now that's a little motivation is to pay attention to what's going on my whoosh for me to complete those achievements.
Very cool.
My whoosh did make some changes to racing categories. I don't know that there's a lot to talk about other than acknowledging they did it, and it seems to be a little more race results based. So like Brian White's a little bit in a challenging category for him now because he's had good results. So he's being challenged pretty hard.
Yeah, it's the people that I'm racing against now are definitely a step ahead of me. And this is a side note. I know I just had some blood work done. I found that my hemoglobin and red blood cell count is low for me. Like, kind of weird. So that may be why my VO2 kind of sucks, is when I'm really looking for oxygen, my blood is like, we ain't got none. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's anything like we
You
just
clean
kind
those
of
pipes.
discovered this.
Clean those
Yeah.
pipes, buddy.
So
Start
maybe
doing some heat training, get that red blood cell count up.
yeah. So maybe that'll help with the VO2 if I get this squared away. It's nothing major. It's just kind of weird. But the VO2 that these guys have, like, is well beyond what I'm capable of. It's kind of funny how our FTPs are all the same, roughly for 20 minutes. And then the category that I'm in right now, they can extend into 6.5 watts for 3 minutes. And that's the next level that I really have to work for yet.
Yeah, and on some courses, that's hard to chase. Once they're
Yeah.
gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
But
and no matter what I could do in the flat, I'm not going to catch them.
I have one more My Whoosh question. The championship thing? What am I missing out on? Is that has that been officially announced? I think we touched on it before we were.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It's 100% official, except for there are no start times. So if you're trying to schedule, like for us in America, like say if it starts, and these courses, they're like 2 to 3 hour races. This isn't just.
Oh right, yes. John Back, friend of the show, he was talking about. He was auto qualified. I think he did his power passport test to do Sunday Race Club, and then he was auto qualified for it. And he was like talking about the courses, and they're gonna be like 3 hours long.
Yeah. Yeah, they're legit. Like there's like 380-kilometer courses. It is wild. And for us in the Americas, North and South America, we don't know what the start time is. There is no official start time. So it's really hard to make a plan for anyone. You want us to sign up, but we don't know what time the races are.
And you're just a few weeks away?
Well, it's about 5 weeks.
Yeah, but you still don't like
August 12th.
You can't plan your life around him, right? Like if it starts at 7 a.m., I can go because that's tough. But yeah, it's coming, and then there's open qualifiers for the UCI Worlds sneaking up on us too.
Yeah.
Oh, open.
Yeah.
The open qualifiers. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so I assume it requires power passport, but yeah, there's no.
Yeah, if you're verified, but
there's no filter other than.
There's no national governing body that's running their own things. It's just like if you whatever nationality you are, you get a free you can qualify for it. Is that that's what this is?
It was titled Open Qualifier. That's all I know.
Basically, what it is, because I did them last year. There was 3 open qualifiers, and they take I can't remember the number now. It might be 30 people, so 10 from each of the qualifiers. So if you score enough points, and they changed up those points this year, from that they changed it up a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see how it falls out. But there's 30 open spots. So week 1 they take 10, week 2 10, week 3 they take 10. That's how they did it last year, and I believe it's the same style of, people who get through. From the open qualifiers, because each nationality, United States all the way down through whoever is participating, will have anywhere from 10 down to 1 designated person that they can put in there, and they're through. The open qualifiers are, anyone in the chat, anyone shows up, as long as do power passport test, they can go.
Yeah, so if US got 5 national spots and Brian White makes it in, you could have 6 Americans starting.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, wasn't that controversial? Wasn't that controversial like last year, where it was like some country got a bonus or a couple bonuses because of this, or no?
They got through. I don't know if it was a controversy, but like I'll make up the numbers. Let's just say Great Britain had 8 people. Auto, like that's how many people they had, and then 3 people got through the open qualifiers. So then they had 11. So they could use teamwork to get whatever 2 or 3 people through for sure.
Yeah, I vaguely remember there were a few countries that ended up kind of getting stacked through the open qualifiers. Like they had a good chunk of open qualifiers, and then we're really able to pile it on. But that's same rules for everybody, right? You want that advantage as a national team. The guys that
make it fun.
If I'm US, right? If I have 5, just call it 5. If I have 5 slots, my 5 guys that I want to give those slots with, I'm going to say, hey, go do the open qualifiers. Because if one of you guys is strong enough, or all 5 of you are strong enough to get through the open qualifiers, I can take my 5 slots and give them to the next 5 guys behind you to get in there and support you. So you don't want anybody not going through the open qualifiers if they're available, because that frees up spots just to keep going deeper. So, and I think from a sport perspective, I think that's great the way they're doing it. So, so that's more to come. And then just to come full circle, Bike Terra is still doing some good stuff, right? They've got the OTR age group racing next season started on Friday. That's going to keep going. Still seeing some good stuff over there. Every time I go over there and race,
you guys weren't
never
here.
regret it. I love it.
Yeah, Lee and I did it. It was the new HUD. There's like a new HUD, and there's like GPX improvements.
Looked real good.
And I believe that they're discussing getting help from the outside, from the community, to maybe improve the rider animations, because the Terraform, like the environment looks great, and I think now people are like, hey, let's polish up the avatar look, not the look, but the animations, because there's like people are scraping the hips moving, and they're getting out of the saddle, and there's like their ankles like scraping the gum off their shoe sort of like feel, instead of like a traditional cycling view.
I did do the Tuesday race, so there's a pretty normal standing Tuesday race that's pretty well populated on Bike Terra too, and I forget what it is, but they changed the auto braking algorithm a little bit, and Matt pointed it out to me in my chat, and I actually had noticed it before he pointed it out, because I'm like, oh, I'm expecting an auto brake, and I didn't get it. It was kind of a sweeping corner, but we were rolling pretty fast, and that was kind of a point of a discussion a couple of weeks ago, that we were getting braked pretty hard on some of those lighter sweeping corners.
I need to fire this
and
up.
They had backed that off. So there were a couple corners I went through in that race before Matt told me they changed it, where I was expecting brakes and I didn't get them, and I was like, oh, okay, we're good.
Okay.
And then he came in later and he's like, hey, we turned down the auto braking a little bit. Not sure if you'll notice on this course. And I had already noticed it.
Oh, very cool.
And questioned it. So so I just love that they're paying attention and making those little tweaks. They're really trying to perfect that.
Yeah. Now, was that because you were solo? You were less braking instead of, remember we talked about that? That was like, it was auto braking regardless of whether you were with a group of 3 or 2. And instead of being a solo rider, you could probably take the corner better than you could if you were around a couple other people.
We were in a small group. I was only solo for the last couple hundred yards, because Bike Terra, it's kind of the classic Bike Terra race for me. I hang on to people I have no business racing with. And then when they finally ramp it up those last 2 kilometers, they end up like burning one too many match for me. And they go off and sprint the last 1 kilometer without me. That's the way that race was. But I love it still, because every hill I got to give everything I've got just to get over the top. And they're nice enough to not bury me on the other side. And I hold on to the next milestone. So, but
that's very cool. I need to check out the new Bike Terra like auto braking thing, because I really enjoyed that when we talked about it, because I had a bad experience with my race in Zwift, where it was like you're trying to recover and like it's auto braking you, so you fall out of the back of the pack. So I'm just like, oh yeah, I have to always be pedaling, always be cranking, and it's just like, why is this on a downhill or a decline harder for me? It always seems harder. Like it's like, well, I should be able to coast here for a little bit to recover a little bit.
If you're coasting down a hill in the back of a 20 group peloton anywhere, you're scrubbing the brakes, right?
Yeah.
Unless you want to cross the center line and pass them, you're scrubbing the brakes, right? There's such a draft there. So yeah, but no, it's a lot of good, healthy things going on in a lot of the
Yeah.
tools right now. So
Yeah. All right. Is that enough? I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to be back. Good to have Casey and Brian. And
yeah, great to see everybody. And
yeah,
thanks for putting up with me being gone for quite a few weeks in a row. I know we've had a few off weeks, but I haven't been here for a few in a row. So
yeah,
I'm back to normal, I think.
back in the saddle again, as they say.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. From the Ghost Boat, Brian White, Casey Shum, Lisa Vries. Thank you very much, everyone. We're planning on next week, but you know how life happens, so keep it up, keep it going. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
See you guys.